Good morning, dear students. Today we will see a new topic, that is hyperconjugation. When we have seen the different effects taking place on the organic compounds, in that we have already discussed, but here we will discuss its application also. Inductive effect, electromagnetic effect, mesomeric effect, that is the resonance effect, and the fourth effect, hyperconjugation. So, hyperconjugation is also known as no-bond resonance, which we have already discussed, and it was discovered, given by a scientist Baker-Nathan. So, it is also called Baker-Nathan effect. It takes place in any compound which has alternate double and single bond. So, the compound which is having alternate double bond as well as single bond, in such compound, hyperconjugation takes place. Here is an example, CH3, CH, double bond CH2. Now, here this hydrogen, when give this electron over here, then this single bond will be converted to the double bond. And at the same time, simultaneously, these pi electrons will be given to the carbon. So, the new structure which exists is CH, CH2, double bond CH, CH2, having a lone pair and one hydrogen which is not having any electron. It has already given electron here, acquiring positive charge with no bond here. But it will not go away from here because the whole compound is here. So this no bond hydrogen with positive charge will try to remain near this compound. And it's not that this hydrogen can only undergo this bond shifting. This hydrogen and this hydrogen can also go. And that's why we will get here the resonating effect at either this hydrogen can also take place as a positive ion by giving the electron pair, and simultaneously it will also acquire here the electron pair. Even this hydrogen can also take part in the reaction, and as all these three hydrogen can take place one by one, then such conjugation, such removal of the bonds is called hyperconjugation. So, let us define what is hyperconjugation. Hyperconjugation is the interaction between the electrons of a system, that is multiple bond, and the adjacent sigma bond, that is a single bond, of the substituent groups in an organic compound. The interaction between the electrons of a multiple bond and single bond. Interaction between double bond and single bond, then that interaction will give the substituent groups. That substituent group of an organic compound is termed as hyperconjugation. Hyperconjugation is possible only in the compounds having alpha hydrogen. Now, in the last video we have seen alpha, beta and gamma carbon. That is alpha elimination, beta elimination, gamma elimination are types of elimination reaction. Here now it is a thing about alpha hydrogen. When the alpha hydrogens are present in an organic compound, then and only then hyperconjugation takes place. So what is alpha hydrogen? So the carbon atom which is attached to the double bond carbon is called alpha carbon, and the hydrogen attached to them are the alpha hydrogen. Here see, this carbon and this carbon both are linked by double bond between them. So the carbon, it is linked with this double bond carbon. Carbon atom which is attached to the carbon-carbon double bond, then that attached carbon is called alpha carbon, and hydrogen attached to the alpha carbon are called alpha hydrogen. So, if the presence of this alpha hydrogens is there, then and only then hyperconjugation takes place. If alpha hydrogens are not present, then hyperconjugation will not take place. So, more the number of hydrogen, alpha hydrogen atom, more is hyperconjugation, right? So, suppose here it is attachment of C double bond C, then this is CH3, right? The highest hyperconjugation takes place because 3 hydrogen is attached. Here only 2 is attached to this carbon. So it will be little less than this methyl state. Here CH3 2, but attached to it is only one CH, that is only one hydrogen. So it is still less hyperconjugated than the first, second, and here not at all alpha hydrogen is present. So no hyperconjugation or the very negligible hyperconjugation takes place. So this was about the hyperconjugation which we have studied. Mostly we have studied, we have not discussed about alpha hydrogen, which I have discussed here, and applications we have not discussed, so we are supposed to discuss it here. The first application of hyperconjugation is shortening of carbon-carbon single bonds adjacent to multiple bonds. So very first application of hyperconjugation is to shorten. To shorten, that means to make carbon-carbon single bond short, which is adjacent to the double bond, right? See this example once again. CH3 single bond CH, double bond CH2. This electrons will come over here, it will take double bond here, and this will take lone pair over here. So what happened here? This is the double bond, multiple bond. The carbon-carbon single bond adjacent to the double bond is made shortened. So on doing this, now this single bond will be converted to double bond, and this single double bond is converted to single bond. That means this double bond is made shortened. Actually it was not double, it was carbon-carbon single bond. So this carbon-carbon single bond which is adjacent to multiple is made shortened because now it has taken position of double bond, and as compared to bond length of the single bond, the bond length of the double bond is shorter, and that is why we can say that single bond carbon-carbon attached to the multiple bond is shorter. So here I have shown that this is a shortened because carbon-carbon single bond is converted to double bond, and the bond length of double bond is shorter than the single bond. Thus, on shortening of the formed bond length, this becomes short, so the bond length becomes short, and as the bond length becomes short, molecule becomes short, and as it will condense, as it will become compact, the stability will be more. And now the second application is, it gives us the relative stability of methylated alkenes. Methylated alkenes, that means alkenes, carbon-carbon double bond will be there, and attached to it will be the methyl group, right? So here, greater the hyperconjugation, more is the stability. What does it mean? It means more alpha carbon atoms, as many more alpha carbon will be there, that much alpha hydrogen also will be there, and more alpha carbon, more hydrogen, alpha hydrogen, so more will be hyperconjugation, and due to that more stability will be prevail in the compound. Here we see C double bond C. What is alpha carbon? A carbon atom attached to the carbon-carbon double bond, then that carbon is alpha. So here this carbon is attached to this carbon-carbon double bond species, so it is alpha. We can consider these also because it is attached to this carbon which are having double bond. So it is also alpha. For this it is attached here. This it is attached here. So all are the alpha carbon and each alpha carbon is having 3. So in all here 12 alpha hydrogen atoms are there. And this is the most stable methylated alkene. C double bond C, so alkene, and all methyl groups are attached to it. So it is methylated alkene. Here you can see one is only H compound. So this is not alpha hydrogen because carbon is not at all here. This is alpha carbon and hydrogen attached to alpha carbon. They are alpha hydrogen. So they are 9 in number. This is the most stable. This is little less than it. Here you can see now 6 hydrogen, so little less than the second structure. Here you can see only 3 alpha hydrogen. Still it is lesser stable than the third structure. And in the last structure we don't have any carbon attached to the carbon-carbon double bond. That means they are not alpha hydrogen because alpha carbon is not at all there. Hydrogen attached to alpha carbon are called alpha hydrogen. So no alpha hydrogen, it means it will not show any hyperconjugation. This structure will not show any hyperconjugation because alpha carbon is absent in it. And if alpha carbon is absent, we can't say that alpha hydrogen is there. It means alpha hydrogen is also not there. And here, as I told that if no alpha hydrogen is present, then there is no possibility of hyperconjugation. If alpha hydrogen are not present, then hyperconjugation will not take place. Right? So once we have already discussed, but it was about the no bond resonance only, but applications were not explained, so I have explained over here. One more topic which is left to discuss, and with this we will finish the first part of this chapter. Fundamental concepts in organic reaction mechanism. We have seen about the organic compounds, that is the hydrocarbons, how the names are given, how they are structuralized, what are their isomeric forms, types of reacting reagents, right, type of reaction intermediates, as well as effects, electron effects in taking place in delocalization, as well as types of reaction. Now, the fundamental concepts in organic reaction mechanism. Generally or normally when chemical reaction takes place, we explain it in the terms of reactants, products, catalysts taking part in it, right? Whether endothermic, exothermic, whether the usage of ultraviolet radiation, sunlight is taking place, right? All these normal terms we use for the explanation of chemical reaction. But in organic chemistry, reaction usually will not take place in just one step, right? And also there are certain names given to the reactants and products. Organic reactions are not the normal reaction which takes place in a regular conditions, but organic reactions are such reactions which are taken at most care, and they are not just such a reaction which takes place in a very simple manner, or we can say just in a single step. It is a sequential steps undergoes the reaction, and there are certain names for such steps which is taking place. The very first thing, the main reactants or the organic molecule, organic substance which take part in the reaction is called substrate. In a normal chemical reaction, we just say reactant 1 reacts with reactant 2 in presence of some conditions or in presence of catalyst and give products. But here the main reactant, which is organic molecule or organic substance, is called substrate. It is reacted by the another reactant, which is called attacking reagent. And when this substrate and attacking reagent react with each other, they will not directly give us the product. They will give the raw product, which is called incomplete product, or a product proceeding to the final touch. That is the intermediates. Not final, but in between. So it is intermediates, and then intermediates is existing out as a final products and byproducts. Byproducts may or may not be getting in the reaction, right? So what is substrate? They are the main reactant, or we can say the reactant which supplies carbon. Now when we are relating here organic molecule, carbon is definitely present there. So reactant which supplies carbon to the new bond, because we want new product. So to form a new product, carbon is to be supplied from original reactant to the intermediate. So the reactant which supplies carbon to the new bond to be formed for a product is called substrate. And the other reactant which is not supplying carbon for the new bond and it reacts with the other formed bond for the bond is called attacking reagent. If both the reactants, that is the substrate and the attacking reagent, if both them supply carbon to the new bond, then the choice is arbitrary. A choice is arbitrary. It means the choice will be of the person who is taking the reaction. And in that case, how the choice is to be taken? In that case, the molecule on which attention is focused is called substrate. So, if we are doing the reaction, organic reaction, and our reactant, that is our substrate, and our reacting reagent, attacking reagent, if both are supplying carbon, then for us, the main focus goes to any one of the compound, then that compound will be considered as the substrate. And in such a reaction, a covalent between two carbon atoms or one carbon atom and other carbon atom is broken to form a new bond. This is the basic idea of the reaction which is taking place, and it is termed as reaction mechanism. So what we can exactly say about reaction mechanism? A sequential account of each step. Sequential, that means not haphazard, considering first and then third and then sixth and then second, not like that. In a proper serial order is called sequential 1, 2, 3, 4 in a proper serial order. So a sequential account of each step describing details of electron movement, right? Which electrons are taking a movement. If that is discussed, then energetics, that means related to thermodynamics, whether it is endothermic, whether it is exothermic, whether the electrons are moving randomly, so entropy is affecting, or Gibbs ray energy is affecting, right? So electron movement, if it is described properly, energetics is described properly, then during the bond cleavage, that means whether it is heterocleavage or homocleavage, right? Fission takes place, and bond formation also. So when all these things are discussed in a proper serial order, one by one, movement of the electrons, energies related to it, cleavage of the bond and formation of the bond, breaking of the old bond, forming of the new bond, breaking of the covalent bond, ionic bond. To break ionic bond is little easier because it is because of the transfer of electron. But to break covalent bond, it becomes little difficult because because of the sharing of the electrons. So all these steps, when in a proper manner is explained, it is called reaction mechanism. The rates of transformation of reactants and products is also studied, which is studied under chemical kinetics, whether the forward reaction or the backward reaction, what is the transformation rate, that is understood by chemical kinetics, and it is also referred as reaction mechanism. Few reaction mechanism we will be having idea in next chapter, but chemical kinetic is a complete new chapter which you will learn in 12th standard. So a knowledge about the reaction helps in understanding the reactivity of organic compounds and planning a strategy for their synthesis at a large scale, that is at industrial level, and or at small scale, that is cottage industries, right? So whatever the reactions, whatever the products is to be produced, for that what we want as a raw material, what we want as a favorable conditions, temperature, pressure, what reactants will be attacking, how the electrons will move, these and that, all knowledge is understood by the reaction mechanism, and we can easily undergo the formation of the product. So this was about reaction mechanism. So first part of the chapter is over, and now we will see about the purification methods of the organic compounds. Thank you.